Howdy guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about why being an appointment setter and why that is so important to a business. So essentially, it's the Robin to the Batman of all types of analogies. The business is the Batman, and you cannot run a business without a Robin. And the Robin in this case is an appointment setter. And I just landed an appointment setting role for a fitness offer for a fitness coach. And I'm going to be talking about why an appointment setter is so important to the value of a business, because one thing an appointment setter does that frees up so much time for the business owner to create content is that the appointment setter's role is to start conversations, to start the pre-sale process, because that's where a lot of people gain curiosity. We build relationships and we find pain points, and we address these pain points by solving a problem. And in this case, and for my example, the offer is a fitness offer, a weight loss offer, and people don't just jump in and buy expensive products. They need to be teased. We need to tease out what's their goals, what their pain points are, and see if we can actually help them. And we're not trying to sell anything during this dialogue of conversation. We're trying to build conversation, try to see whether or not what we're offering is something that could help them. And I'm going to go through what I've been doing in the last couple of days, which I managed to book in some appointments. So why is pre-sale so important? Pre-sale is important because people want to buy from people that they like and people that they trust. People aren't just going to buy an expensive product because they don't even know if it's good quality. That's for one. Or two, they don't trust them. So it's really important to generate a relationship as an appointment setter's role, to ensure that they trust the product, they trust the coach, and they're pretty much reassured that whatever we are selling them is going to guarantee them their dream outcome. And in this case, it's a weight loss offer. And my coach has a lot of testimonials and a lot of people running the program. So a lot of evidence and a lot of testimonies to help prove the offer in the context. So I'm going to run through what my conversation dialogue is like. So, and I want to see whether or not it's going to help anyone. This can also help you find through cold outbound when you're trying to find an appointment setting job. Again, if you think of it as a pre-sale is essentially you're trying to build trust, you're trying to build a relationship with the client or the business owner to ensure that you can try to close an appointment. Essentially, it's almost like closing a sale, except for you're pre-warming the client in order to close during the call, which is what the closer will do. So the first part is to have a compliment or question. Hang on. So let me preface by saying that you're going to deal with a lot of rejections as an appointment setter, or a lot of messages left unseen, or people just don't reply. And this is where you build thick skin, and essentially you leave a bit of skin you put a bit of skin in the game, because it's not really rejection, because you don't really know if people are wanting to buy your product, but essentially is you're trying to find people who are keen to have a chat with to start things off. And then once you get a chat going, you can start to pry and dig into whether or not you can provide any problems. So it's generally the first question where you say hello, you give them a compliment, and you first give them a question like, a good one is like, what made you follow? Or are you into this specific niche for fitness? Are you into fitness, eh? You want to try to avoid any closed-ended questions, because one thing is you don't want to be bogged down into the fact that you're an appointment setter, which means that you don't want to be turning this conversation into an interview. That would suck, and no one would want that, because people will realize that you're on it sounds choppy and robotic, and that's not what you want. Essentially, you want to embody the way the coach talks, or the person that's selling the product, And depending on what you're selling to, if you're selling to customers, you want to be casual. If you're selling to businesses, you want to be a bit professional. You don't want to say things like "dude," "man," but it depends on who you're selling and what you're selling to essentially embody the type of language and persona that the coach or service is providing. So make sure you do your research and you understand how you're going to be talking. Because sometimes the way you're talking right now, you might have to change it up a bit just to make sure that it doesn't come off as weird or, I guess, not sequencing it correctly. So avoid closed-ended questions and avoid making it like an interview. So make it like a conversation. If you are going to ask a question, have a comment on what they said before to essentially pivot it into a question. Don't just use a question straight away. It's like a form of interrogation, and no one would want that. Okay, so something like exercise can be hard if you're doing it on your own. What are you currently trying that isn't working right now? So something like that instead of what are you doing? So try avoiding that. Yeah, and something like what are your current goals for the next 3 to 6 months? But preempting that by saying like, oh, how long have you been at it for a long time? Why haven't you reached your goal any sooner? Keep it casual, okay? The next thing you want to do as you go deep into the conversation is you want to start qualifying them with questions. Things like money, and that comes from whether or not they work and have a steady income, if they can commit to it. So a time is whether or not if they're busy, or if they are busy, does your offer something for busy people? And urgency. This is one of the tricky ones that, as an appointment setter, you need to start thinking critically and wonder whether or not their pain points are that high that they're desperate to want your service. And this is where you're going to use the pre-sale and really dig and see whether or not they are desperate, or I guess you want to see whether or not they are really in desperate need for the help, and whether or not your offer is that good to provide the value that they are needing. Okay, and make sure you're addressing any pain points or friction points that that's going to come up with. So the most common one is like, how much does it cost? And it doesn't matter how cheap it is. You can truly build trust and reduce their anxiety and assure them that whatever they spend on themselves, an investment on themselves is never a bad investment. And if anyone's going to give up, they have to give up first before you give up. Because you can definitely bring a horse to the water, but you can't get the horse to drink the water. And that's one thing when you're trying to warm up leads. You can talk and build a relationship and try your best to reduce their anxiety and reassure them that they're going to put all their money into something that they think is going to level them up. But if they cannot commit, then they cannot commit. But one thing as an appointment setter, one thing you need to know as an appointment setter is that you have to keep nurturing them, you have to keep reassuring them. If they say no, it's one thing that I've learned is to keep being annoying, but in a very positive way, because you don't know what their life is outside of the DMs. They could be having a stressful time, and there could be anything could be going along. In today's modern society, everyone's stressed the hell out. So it's up to you to have that solution for them. Okay, so my final point is the call to action. This is where you've built up enough ammunition, where you've collected enough pain points, you've collected enough qualifying answers from the questions you've asked to be like, hey, I've got this golden ticket and I truly feel that I can help you. Do you want it now? And it will save you so much time. Yes or no. And you cannot use this call to action any earlier than when before. You cannot use it at the start, because they'll be like, this guy's trying to sell me something. And of course, you're trying to sell them something, but you want to build that relationship before you sell them anything whatsoever. So those are the things that you want to try to do as an appointment setter before you do a call to action. And that's one thing that separates a good appointment setter from the best. And if you want to be the best, you're pretty much helping run the business for the owner. And that's going to set you apart from everyone else. Okay. Thanks again for watching. I hope this has helped anyone that's struggling to be an appointment setter or struggling what to say. And I want to be posting more of these. Okay. Catch you later.